Okay, so hello everyone. Before we get started here, uh, we've had to do this a few times, unfortunately. One great thing about the CMC is that we get people joining from all around the world, all different walks of life. And since we've done the last one of these, one of our regulars who joined many meetings and was a great contributor and a great musician, unfortunately, he passed away, and his name was Justin Frew. And I met him in Cambodia, and then he lived in Australia. So I just wanted to acknowledge him and, uh, uh, express my appreciation for him joining the project and all his great music. And just wanted to say that because I think it's important to acknowledge things like that. So thank you, Justin, and let's get on to a good meeting. So, here, um, here we go. So,
The road to the right leads to happiness and eternal life. The road to the left leads to death, hell, and destruction.
welcome everybody to the Critical Music Club. It's meeting number 68. It's the All Rockin' Roundtable. It trains for musicians, DJs, music writers, music lovers, and miscellaneous miscreants to meet and talk tunes. My name is Bo, literally, and I'll be your host. I appear courtesy of myself. I'm the demon who you must wage your soul against. That's only appropriate since today we will be discussing the critic list Crossroads songs. And for our album discussion, it's an album by a evil man caught in a war zone but now determined to win. After a good roll from the Rolling Stones, he's now moved from the shotgun to the driver's seat of the Pontiac, and that's a natural fact. From Up in Black Harlem and Down with Louisiana Red, he's got that Paris recording light in his eyes, and he's the one that's been talking. Ladies and gentlemen, to talk his 1979 debut album Crossroads, it's Sugar Blue. All right. So we got Sugar Blue here. All right. That's enough applause. Calm down, guys. Please, please relax. And I can't even reach around to click it. Anyway, so we got Sugar Blue. We had some technical difficulties, but he is here. His voice is a little scratchy. We had to get him through a different program, but we're gonna do our best. Sugar Blue, man, how you doing?
I'm hanging in there, baby.
Yeah. Can you guys all see Sugar Blue a bit? It's
Yeah,
okay-ish enough.
okay.
Got some thumbs up. All right. So where you did a gig last night? You were playing at the Sugar Blue Music Room, or were you somewhere else?
Yeah, at the Sugar Blue Music Room. Yeah.
Yeah, Sugar Blue is spending his time.
We had a ball.
You had a
Had a ball.
ball. Last weekend we did some disco events. Maybe we'll talk about that later. But down south in Shanghai, on the southern part of town, he's got a music room. It's not so much a blues club, but they have some performances there, and it's a real cool museum. And when I've got a chance to do some real interesting events with Sugar Blue, and that's fantastic stuff. So Sugar Blue, you and I have talked a lot, but we got a whole bunch of other people here watching in live. So I want to give you a chance to know who you're talking to. So we're going to meet our roundtable of critics here. So this is what's going to happen. I'm going to call on you, and if you can please introduce yourself quickly, say your name, the city that you're at, and something recently you've been involved with the world of music. It could be a performance you've done. It could be a recording you're working on. It could be a jingle you heard in a commercial. Whatever it is, as long as it's something new and musical as part of your quick introduction. So first, let's go to the man who's the conductor on the Honky Tonk Freeway. He's the Motor City Lad Man. He's uh, Colonel Bus Crash Dave Bojangles, sir.
Oh, thank you. Good evening. Yeah. Well, I'm in Shenzhen at the moment, and yeah. Well, musically, I've just been sort of jamming. I play drums in this club called the Chin Chin Club, where I live in Dali, and it's quite nice. It's sort of got a jazz theme going on, and they're always very keen to have me get up and jam with them, even if I'm not really suited to what they're playing. But yeah, very nice. So that's me.
Fantastic. Let's move on to Paulo.
Paolo in Manila in the Philippines. And lately I've been taking part in these musical libraries, basically, at Library Una in Quezon City, where they have an event called Non-Stream, where the emphasis on sharing physical music on physical media. And sometimes it's based around themes, sometimes it's based around formats, like everyone shares their favorite 7 inches. Other times it's they share like their favorite albums that fit a particular genre. And so like we're doing this monthly, and hopefully it keeps going.
Fantastic. And by the way, I do have the Sugar Blue album Crossroads we'll be talking about here. So there's some physical formats. We'll talk about I love Sugar Blue. We'll talk about this god-awful album cover in a bit. We'll get to that soon. Hey, Julia.
Hello, I'm in Shanghai, as most of y'all know. Musically, haven't really done anything musically besides listen to it. Last thing I was at was Sugar Blue Music Room, dancing some disco. It was fun.
Fantastic. Okay, let's go to Lacey Eric.
Okay. Yeah, I am here in Beijing. My name is Eric. Currently, what's going on musically? Kids Factory is about to prepare, or is preparing to record a new couple of songs. Hot Piss is currently promoting our next show. It'll be Dying Arts Records' last show in March.
Oh.
So if you're in the Beijing area, please come on out and pay your respects.
Fantastic. Someone else who's in Beijing with you. Let's talk to Brad.
Hey everybody, I'm Brad, and musically did a performance today on the Hebei Beijing border called the Chaobai River on the ice, kind of like the border of the two provinces, and just doing some like ambient music, recording a lot in the studio, and in my free time doing a bit of field recording when I can get out of the city.
Fantastic. Let's go to Eric Allen.
Yeah, I'm also in Beijing, and recently I just came back to China actually about a month ago. Was in the UK and the US for about 3 months touring, and now here in China, I'm just working on some more songs and we're between albums. I released the third album in September, and the fourth one's coming up later in the spring, both of which were produced by yours truly, Brad.
Fantastic. And Eric Allen's album, his music is on the priority list for us to cover in the CMC. Thank you very much for joining us for the first time. I look forward to seeing more of you here. Let's go to Professor Nate.
I gotta get my mute buttons lined up here. All right, I'm Professor Nate, and I'm in Boston, basically. And musically, I teach 5 days a week right now, and I've got middle schoolers and college students that I'm teaching music right now. But I'm also doing an orchestra, playing in an orchestra right now. I've got an orchestra cycle, and just random gigs that pop up, whatever I do, and some recording stuff, but not a lot right now, but
Sounds good. Nate's a great trombone player, and I think someone who introduced me to Nate is up next. Let's talk to Gary.
Hey, I'm Gary. I'm in Guangzhou, China right now. I'm from Boston. Musically, I've been actually fiddling around with the harmonica a little, and I have been greatly inspired by our guest. I've been reminiscing a lot in my childhood, growing up listening to the Stones, and I was inspired by him back then. I just didn't know who he was. But now I know the man, I know who he is, and I'm going to get that harmonica moving. And also, my wife bought me some guitar strings a few months ago. And I do plan on getting those on and getting rocking soon. In fact, me and Professor Nate are talking about doing a song together, so that might be up and coming.
Very, very cool, Gary. And just quickly, you got your t-shirts behind you. I know you're raising money for the cats that you're fostering. You want to mention that real quick?
And the dogs. We've rescued well over 200 cats and dogs now. We put our heart and soul into it. My wife's an angel. We need to raise money though. It's a fortune it costs us, the surgeries and everything. Just the kid. Anyways, I've been learning this Chinese art called Zhongke, where I carve the ancient Chinese words into stone to make a stamp. And then we've been putting the stamp on shirts. This was the first one I did. It's called Da Tong. Da Tong was Confucius's vision of a world of peace. So I put it inside the Western peace symbol. So it's Eastern world, Western world coming together in peace. And then this one was my gift to China, He Ping Fan Rong. It means peace and prosperity. It was my gift to China years ago. It's a blessing. You get the shirt or you get a keychain or mug. The blessing goes with you. And also it helps to pay for these cats and dogs and everything.
Cool.
So.
Fantastic. We'll post a link to that in the various social media where you can get a t-shirt and support what he's doing.
And
so
I do quickly want to mention that Sugar Blue, it was such an honor growing up listening to your music. I had that harmonica, miss you especially, had it in my head so much as a teenager. I really want to give you one of my shirts. If afterwards, if like you can work it out with DJ Poe, I'd love to send you a shirt. The blessing to you, brother. Thank you.
Okay, so if Gary's the angel, we have the devil here with a lot less love in his heart. Randy, can you introduce yourself to kind of give the yang to the yin here?
You already introduced me. That's it, right?
Where are you at right now?
The Hague. Where I'm from, hometown.
And what music are you listening to, or anything recent with music with you?
Devil's music, right?
You're listening to the devil. Yeah, that sounds about right. And Ella Mae Morse covering Ruth Brown and all that stuff. We just very quickly, someone who didn't get a chance to send his critic list in, but do you want a chance to introduce yourself, Eric, in the States right now, and just say hi?
Yeah, hello everybody. I'm the third Eric here tonight. Currently in Baltimore, Maryland. Just found a samba percussion circle that I've joined, and going out to the local bluegrass old time music jam night as well. So
fantastic.
Glad to be here.
Great. And Denise is over there. She could say hi. And we got Yelly, we got Alex, we got a whole bunch of other people in the chat there. And that's fantastic, because we're going to get now to our album discussion. And like I held that up before, this is the original album cover for it. I'm trying to see around there. It's Crossroads for Sugar Blue by Sugar Blue. Here's a brief introduction of it. This was not Sugar Blue's first album appearing on, but it's his first one as the solo title artist. It was, I think, and I will have to double check this, recorded in Paris in December 1979, produced by Dominique Bouscal, recorded at the Saint Nom Le Bretèche. Maybe I got that right. And one thing I'll mention is a track recorded here, Another Man Done Gone, was later re-recorded with a different version, and that song was released on the album Blues Explosion. And that compilation won the Best Traditional Blues Recording Grammy in 1985. So, Sugar Blue, man, let's listen to a little bit of it. Sugar Blue, you with me, man?
I'm here.
All right, let's listen to that track, which is listed here as track number 1 on the digital release of the album, and then we'll talk about it. So let's listen a bit right here.
gone. No man is gone. No man is gone. No man is gone. On the county phone. Didn't know his name. Didn't know his name. Didn't know his name. Didn't know his name. No man is gone. No man is gone. On the county phone.
Gonna fade out a bit, even though it's in one of your blazing harmonica solos there. Sugar Blue, when I play that a bit, what's the first thing that you think of? Like, just so you understand and everyone else does, you have a long, amazing career, but we're gonna focus on this album. So when you hear that track from Crossroads, what's something that you think of? What comes to your mind?
Oh man, those were my days living in Paris, France, and hanging out and busking, playing the streets, and meeting all kinds of wonderful musicians like Memphis Slim and Kenny Clark. And so many fantastic players, man. It was a great time to be in Paris in those days.
And so the sessions, we'll talk about another band on Gone in a second, some more, but these sessions that you did you go in saying, this is going to be my debut album, or were you just recording and then it kind of came together as this album?
Oh, it was my, I knew this was going to be my first venture as a solo artist. So I did very, very few cover tunes, but some of the stuff that I did, I like Sonny Boy Williamson, and I did 2 Sonny Boy Williamson tunes. And a Howlin' Wolf tune.
Yeah. Well, and I was holding up too, because this is something that was very important for me as a young music fan. It's not about me, but just so you people know, there's 2 Sonny Boy Williamsons, and it's very confusing. They were both born around the same time, but Sonny Boy Williamson 1 was a star first, and he did Good Morning Little Schoolgirl. This is from the second one. And when I was starting to learn about this music in high school, I saw Sonny Boy Williamson. I did not understand that there was 2 different people. And so it's very confusing here. But yeah, you did 2 of this boy, Sonny Williamson. Williamson's 2 songs.
Rice Miller was Sonny Boy number 2.
Yeah. So
he's the one that influenced me the most.
Interesting. So I'm gonna play you another version of this song. This version came out in 1962, and I want you to tell me about what was your process in recording the version the way you did, because that recording is very raw, pretty raw. It's just harmonica and drums going. But here's another version of it, and let's talk a little bit about your thoughts on this song.
Another man
When he was hanging dead, the captain turned his head. The captain turned his head.
So that's an excerpt from Johnny Cash with Anita Carter from the Carter family. And of course, he later married June Carter. So that's June Carter's sister singing with him. Just very raw, just vocal. So can you tell me, when you were approaching this song, why did you choose the arrangement that you did for it, or were you just running and gunning?
No, it was actually I heard Sonny Boy do somewhat of a version of that, and I wanted to emulate him.
Mm-hmm. Like what?
I mean, he's one of my heroes, one of the greatest harmonica players that ever did it.
Yeah, I mean, that's one interesting thing about this album that makes it a complete lesson. And I've talked to you about this before. Like, you know, some blues guys, they like to show up at the blues club or whatever, and then they do the standard material, the standards, the classics. You take much more care in your arrangements, and you have an eclectic amount of material. You know, on this album, there's jazzier tracks, there's horns, there's all sorts of stuff. How did you decide what you wanted to do for each of the songs here?
Well, I hear the spirit of the tune in my head,
Mm-hmm.
and so it's like there's a tune on the record called War Zone, and I thought it needed horns, you know,
Mm-hmm.
to give it power. And
Great.
there's another tune called Dark and Hungry,
Yeah.
and it needed some quiet, kind of soulful horns in the background, you know. It's to elicit the spirit and feel of the music.
I got you. Let's listen to a little bit of Dark and Hungry, and then I'm going to ask you about Cecil Savage, Cecil Savage, and some of the other people you worked. We'll ask you about that, but here's a little bit of Dark and Hungry.
My stars are falling down, leaving the night sky blind. My stars are falling down, leaving the night sky blind. I hear the devil scream, calling me in the night. I'm dark and so hungry. I am an evil man. I'm dark and so hungry. I am an evil man. I take all I can get.
All right. So a couple of things. First of all, that's some dark stuff. Sugar Blue. Were you in a dark state of mind when you were recording that, or were you just kind of summoning something else up?
No, it was like there were some kind of dark times when I was living in France. You know, I had kind of a bad situation and a kind of funky love affair, and my mom had just passed away, and so I was trying to be tough, and you know, and it's not going to affect me. I'm dark and I'm hungry. I'm going to eat up everything. You know, it was just me trying to cope with the situation, and I wrote that song.
I think, and tell me about the co-writer for that song and some of the other songs. Who is that person, and how did you collaborate?
Oh, well, she was my girlfriend for a good 10 or 15 years. And she played bass on the song.
Female bass players, you got a soft spot for them, huh?
Yeah. So yeah, so that's yeah, she was very important in those times.
Uh-huh. So were you writing the words or music, or how was that? How did that work out?
We really co-authored the whole thing, like the melody. I came up with the melody, she came up with the bass line, and I wrote the words.
Uh-huh. And that song, it's got like a double tracked vocal or a heavy echo. Like, was that something you worked on with the producer, you know? And also, can you just talk about how, you know, some blues guys, they like to keep things exactly raw, you know, just like live. This was using some studio effects to your advantages, and it switches up in the songs. Can you just talk about your decision to do that?
Yeah, well, I didn't want to do a straight ahead a blues album. You know, I wanted to be able to use the technical possibilities of the studio to make it different. You know, to make it different, to make it stronger, to make it more, if you would, more modern. You know, it's like I love the old tradition, but I think that if the music doesn't progress and change, then it dies. And I don't want the music to die. You know, the only way you're gonna keep blues alive is to continue to change it.
I dig it. So let's just let me just ask you like this. So we've talked before about how when you got the solo deal because of your success with Miss You, you know, holding that record up here, Rolling Stones Miss You. And you know, you had done recordings with Louisiana Red, and we got some of those we could talk about, but this is your first chance to be solo. Did you feel pressure to do more disco recordings? Was there anyone telling you to do that, or were you just like, that's not really what I do, you know, I want to do it this way? What was the feeling about that?
No, I never tried to pursue disco. Okay, it was, as a matter of fact, I recorded Miss You, but it was quite a few years later that I did it, and I did it because Rico McFarland, my guitar player for some 25 years, he said, "Man, you got to do this. You got to do this tune." And so we did it. I didn't really want to do it, but
yeah,
he had been bugging me for about 2 or 3 years to do it, so I did it.
Yeah, it's on Blue Blazes, which I know my buddy Eric Joyner here, he's listened to. There's also the live version of it as well. But let's stick to this. I'm gonna play you what I consider my favorite track from this album. We'll talk about that, and then we're gonna open it up. Guys, if you want to ask a question, put it in the comments, we'll get to it. But honestly, Sugar Blue, this is my favorite track from it, and I want to talk about it. Yeah, that's some funky stuff, man. But it's also, you were in Paris in 1979. How did you write about the USA in 2026 on that track? Because that's kind of what it feels like a bit. Like when you were writing these songs, who was your audience in mind? Did you have someone that you imagined you were going to be listening to it?
I wrote what I wanted to hear. Okay, I wasn't. It was like, okay, if you like it, fine. But I was writing this stuff for me to get it out of myself, to get it out of me.
And one or two last quick bits. So you had recorded before, and I love New Jersey Woman with Louisiana Red and a lot of other interesting stuff. You sing in a few different kind of styles on this album. Can you just talk about how confident were you in your singing, or was this a new challenge for you to be doing these sessions where now you're the lead vocalist?
It was the first time that it was my first recording, so I just went for it, man, you know. And I was influenced by some jazz cats and some blues cats, but at the time I was really playing around a lot of jazzers, so I was very heavily influenced by them.
Interesting stuff. Yeah, like on Pontiac Blues. Yeah, on Pontiac Blues, it's very jazzy. Last question for me for now, and then we're going to get to Dave here. Whatever your aim was for this album, was this a success for you? Are you happy looking back on this album?
Back in the day, I did it. I liked it. I was into it. I thought that I did it. I thought I did a pretty good job, and the French critics liked it. So I was like, okay, good. That's good.
Cool, man.
I like it. You like it. That's the whole point.
Great. And of course, you continue to put out some great music here. Here's your latest album, and I know you're working on some more with Hilaria, your wife. And good stuff, man. Let's get now to our critics here. These guys are savages, Sugar Blue. I need you to be careful here. They might tear some things apart. So, but hopefully they won't be too bad. And let's get to Uncle Dave Bojangles.
Hello, Sugar Blue. I was interested in how the recording sessions went, and like, what's your preferred way of working? Like, for example, the Rolling Stones, they tend to get into the studio after midnight and do their best work at those wee small hours. Did you have a sort of schedule, or you just, whenever you felt like recording, that was the time to do it?
I'm having a really difficult time hearing you.
Okay, don't worry about that. And I'll speak for Dave here just for a second, Sugar Blue. So he was saying, when you were in the studio, did you have a preferred time to go in? Maybe did you record the songs all at once, or did you take your time with it? Can you just talk a little bit about how you like to work in the recording studio?
We went in. I think about 2 or 3 days. We took about 2 or 3 days to record the entire album. And we all got together and played it in the same room. And it was done in the old school kind of way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Especially tunes like Pontiac. That was a straight ahead jam.
I dig it. Well, one thing that I think will add to Dave's question here, there's been an album released called the Paris Sessions, where they take the songs from this album and some of the other songs, and I think there's like 16 songs total. When this album came out, did you choose what you wanted on the album, or was that just the producer who chose it? And there's been different track listings. How do you feel about that?
Well, no. In the record Crossroads, I chose all of the material. Okay. And I did a second album with these guys. When I had gone back to Chicago, and I brought a band from Chicago into Paris, and it was all right. It was all right. It was fun. We had fun. It was wild and crazy, but it was good.
Wild and crazy and good. I dig it. So let's go to Brad next.
Okay, so my question was actually pretty similar to Dave's, but I wanted to know more about the recording process in France and how that was different than how you might do it in the US before or after that. So more specifically, how you were working with the any French musicians or engineers at the time, and how that communication was.
So just to give you some context, Brad is a recording engineer and producer, and he was asking kind of about the musicians that you're recording with, or anything about the engineering that struck you as different than recording in the USA. Can you just talk a little bit more about the technical side a bit?
We had there was engineering. I had worked on the Rolling Stones record, right?
Oh.
And the only French musician on the tracks was the bass player, Cecile Savage.
Ah.
The rest were American expats. That were living in France.
I got you. And would you say it was a similar situation than when you did the Louisiana Red sessions as well? Was it similar situation?
No, actually, a lot of the stuff that I did with Red that was recorded was done live. It was done live in a club in London. Very different.
I dig it. So actually, just to give some context to that, here's one of the songs that you had recorded a little before. Here's Louisiana Red and Sugar Blue. And then I think we'll go to Gary next with a question. Here's my favorite track from that session, New Jersey Woman.
I bought a woman a Frigidaire. I bought a nice clothes, took out an apartment, the brother-in-law didn't want her in there. That's where the blues singer goes through. I worked 5 days in a steel mill, bring home all my pay every Friday night. And she tells me to get out of the house, cuts up all my clothes and wouldn't treat me right, sugar. I'm gonna preach now, sugar. And that's why I don't want no more want a New Jersey women. To the west side. Only women is the west side. Not up for one. Man, she made up for more. Well, ain't nobody told me I'm crazy.
Sugar Blue, you've sung about some dark subjects, but New Jersey women, that's pretty heavy, man.
Red had some wonderful relationships.
So that was from 1978. So that was about a year and probably a couple of months before this. Let's go to Gary. Gary, you had something you wanted to say? Ask?
Well, I would love to hear.
It's called 30 Dirty Women.
30 Dirty Women. That's heavy. All right, we got a question from Gary here. And then if someone else wants to ask a question, they can message me in the thing. We'll go to it.
Well, I would love to hear if Sugar Blue had a memory he'd like to share with us of like partying with the Stones. Some short little memory that he'd like to share, or what it was like when Mick Jagger found him busking. You know, whatever. If you'd like to share a little something, that'd be great.
Okay, well, so Sugar Blue, he was asking about your time with the Stones. One thing Gary mentioned is that the busking story, which we know is kind of not really true so much, but yeah, that didn't happen. I'm going to send you a web link to a full career interview Sugar Blue did for the Hang Fire Rolling Stones podcast. But let's just say this here, Sugar Blue, you had done Some Girls before this, of course, and then you joined back in with Emotional Rescue, where which I think was about a couple months after this. Were you still in contact with the Stones over this period, or did they reach out again to you? How did that happen?
When they needed me, I was there.
You
know, it was like for me it was very a very lucrative gig. And I needed the money and they needed the music. So it kind of worked out for both of us.
And was being in the studio with them very different than when you did your solo recordings?
No.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
You go in, you play the music, man. You know what you're gonna do.
Yeah.
And you lay it down.
Fair enough. So if anyone else has questions, they can do it. But I'm in the meantime, I think we got one more song that I want to ask you about. And include your influences here. Let me see here. Okay. I'm holding Howlin' Wolf. You cover a Howlin' Wolf track on here. Let's listen to a little bit of Howlin' Wolf's original version of the song Who's Been Talking, and then I'm going to transition to your version and we'll talk about that again. And we're going to be finishing out with the album discussion real soon. So here's Howlin' Wolf, Who's Been Talking, the original single, and then Sugar Blue with his version of Who's Been Talking.
My baby caught the train, left me all alone. My baby caught the train, left me all alone. She knows I love her, she done me wrong. My baby bought the ticket, lost her right on. My baby bought the ticket, long as my ride on. She says she gonna ride long as I've been from home.
And now here's Sugar Blue with the same song, Who's Been Talking.
baby caught the train, left me all alone. My baby caught the train, man, and left me here all alone. Well, now she said she's gonna ride long as I've been from home. My baby bought a ticket long as I ride on. Well, my baby bought a ticket long as my ride on. Well, now she's gonna ride long as I've been from home.
So, Sugar Blue, can you tell me a little bit about choosing that song? And you really, you're very capable of giving it like that Howlin' Wolf strong approach, but you kind of took it a little bit more morose, a little bit more downtrodden. Can you talk about your decision to kind of change the arrangement for the song and change what it's about a bit?
Well, the horn part, the opening horn part was to signify the wheels of the train rolling. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
The way old steam engines used to spin before it would really catch and it starts to move.
Yeah.
And it was, and I felt really, I wanted to play it sort of like, give it a kind of a Miles Davis kind of a feel to it, you know?
Interesting. Like, yeah, you really took it in a different direction, and I think that's interesting. And like we talked about, you're someone who, you're out here still recording, still performing. You're not doing the traditional blues thing, even though you're covering a track here. So you have quite the amazing career here. And this was the debut album, and we're gonna finish this year. So thank you very much for talking about your album, Crossroads.
Oh, hey, man, takes me way back.
All right. And so, but stick around right here because we're going to move now to our second half of our event, and that is the critic list. And if you guys are not familiar, the critic list is a ranked top 5 song list that all of our critics submitted before the meeting. And this one was on Crossroads, and let's talk about that a little bit right now as I pull up my notes. Now, we're going to go around to everyone and hear them talk about their list, maybe talk about one song, maybe talk about a couple of them, and then we'll listen to a sample. But before we get there, there's no winners or losers, but it's interesting to see what songs and artists appear the most. Now, the artist that appears the most is the Rolling Stones and Robert Johnson, who of course recorded the original version of Crossroads or Crossroads Blue, and then Bob Dylan, who someone Sugar Blue recorded with, Bone Thugs and Harmony, Howlin' Wolf, and Willie Dixon. They all appear twice. Howlin' Wolf because he wrote Who's Been Talking, and we got the Sugar Blue version here. The artist points with the most, with a #1 ranking getting 5 points, a #2 4 points, and on. We have the Glimmer Twins with Mick and Keith with 12 points, and Sugar Blue himself with 12 points, which is great, and Bone Thugs and Harmony with 10 points. And the song that appears the most overall, Crossroad Blues with 3 different times, and we have the Crossroads by Bone Thugs and Harmony, the remix, Miss You, and Who's Been Talking. They all appear twice here. So before we get to anyone here, does anyone have first impressions when we gave you Crossroad Blues? Any first things come to your mind, or anything comes to mind when you see the results of this? Anyone want to say anything with that? No calls. All right, that's fine. So hey, so Sugar Blue, let's just talk about your list first, so you can head out and chill out a bit. We can let you sign out if you want. So Sugar Blue, your number 5 was Coco Taylor, Wang Dang Doodle, of course, with the Muddy Waters backing vocals there. Your number 4, Howlin' Wolf, Who's Been Talking, which we played a little bit before. Number 3, Sugar Blue, Day Tripper, your cover of the Beatles classic. Number 2, your version of Miss You from their Blue Blazes album. And number 1, Billie Holiday, God Bless the Child. Sugar Blue, can you talk a little bit about how you came up with your list and what was your thinking behind it?
Well, I worked for quite a few years with Willie Dixon, and his material was very important to me, as was the relationship. I mean, because he taught me so much about songwriting, you know, because he had a way. He told me one time, we were talking, and he said, you know, the blues is really incredible. He said, but you got to look at it like a painting. He said the music the music is like the frame. And he said, and the words are the painting itself.
Mm-hmm.
He said if you're going, and he said when you as good as the music is, you gotta really have you gotta have a really strong message to you gotta have a really strong message, or otherwise it doesn't work. So I was very much influenced by that you know, and I tried to take that into my head and write in that kind of style, you know.
I dig it. Hey, so just one question that obviously is related to this. So this critic list was Crossroads. You didn't choose the song Crossroads, Robert Johnson, which is I think an obvious one in a sense, but in the album you did was called Crossroads as well. Did you have a rationale or a reason for calling it that, or was that just something the label did?
It's a tribute to Robert Johnson.
A tribute to Robert Johnson. Have you recorded Crossroads?
No, I haven't.
All right,
No,
all right.
I haven't.
Well,
no, it's like for me, Robert Johnson it was the penultimate, you know. Other people that tried to do it, and I think all they did was mess it up. You know, it's like
oh no.
It's like Georgia by
Ray Charles.
By Ray Charles.
Yeah.
Okay, excuse me. Nobody else needs to do that song.
Yeah.
Right? It's done.
Yeah. So I was surprised a bit. This is going backwards a bit, but since you brought it up, I thought at least someone would have chosen the Cream version or an Eric Clapton version of Crossroads. He gets no love anymore. I feel like to some extent Eric Clapton's star has kind of diminished. It might be related to his politics, might be related to other things. Does anyone just have an opinion and what they want to shout out about that? If you know they even considered Eric Clapton's version of Crossroads, Cream's version of Crossroads? Anyone?
I almost picked it.
You almost picked it. Okay, so yeah,
it would be number 6 for me.
Yeah. The cheery and always happy Heart Full of Roses. Randy, did you have a comment that you wanted to make about Cream's version of Crossroads?
Well, it's just the sound of getting it wrong. Yeah. That's how you get it wrong. That's how you don't do it.
That's how you. Okay, that's
how you don't play the blues, right? That's just everything about it's wrong, you know. And it started a movement of bad blues, you know, because people all wanted to sound like Clapton and Cream. So we went to the 80s full of just such bad, terrible mom and pop, lawyer, dentist blues bands, sounding like Clapton. which almost ruined the genre.
Oh my, very heavy. I will mention a couple things. I'm not saying that all of the Eric Clapton solo recordings are good and things, but there's some great Eric Clapton, tunes that throughout his career. And I will say that Ginger Baker's on the track. On a previous CMC, we covered Ginger Baker's African Force. We had one of the drummers from the band joining us. So there's some good musicians on there. So I wouldn't say that, but I kind of know what you're saying. Does anyone else have a comment about that at all? Anyone else?
What do you think about
All
the
right.
blues now?
What was that? Who was that?
I was asking the gentleman who was talking about the blues in the 80s what he thinks about the blues now.
Randy, do you have a feeling about modern blues, I guess we could say?
Oh, there is so little that is good. That there is some good. The people that are good are the people who aren't trying to be good. That's how I see it.
Yeah.
But there's a generation that's disappearing.
Interesting.
Yeah. I agree. Or not trying to follow in the footsteps of others.
Yeah.
in my opinion.
I think the Fat Possum stuff is about the last generation of, real blues.
Yeah.
And after that, we have YouTube blues, just people with YouTube videos arguing with each other about what they should be playing.
And I will say that Randy does send me clips. We do talk about modern music, and he has his critic list with some interesting blues and blues related projects as well. And Sugar Blues got some great music and performances too. So we'll close off the segment of Sugar Blue here. Let's listen to a bit of God Bless the Child, his #1 by Billie Holiday, who you can hear on some of the podcast recordings of Sugar Blue vomiting all over Billie Holiday, just spewing her with all sorts of liquid before she went to the Apollo Theater. Right, Sugar Blue? That's what you did?
I was a baby.
Oh, excuses, Sugar Blue. Let's listen to a bit Billie Holiday.
Mama may have, Papa may have, but God bless the child that's got his own.
Them that's got shall get, them that's not shall lose. So the Bible said, and it still is news. Mama may have, Papa may have, but God bless the child that's got his own, that's got his own. Yes, the strong gets more while the weak ones fade. Empty pockets don't.
All right. Sugar Blue, if you want to stick around, you can. We're going to be going to the other people to choose their songs. If you got to go, completely understand it. Whatever you want to do is cool with you. So it's all right.
I wanted to say something that Willie Dixon told me. He said, the blues are the roots and the rest of the music are the fruits.
Absolutely. And you recorded a song with Barney McGee, and it's called "The Blues Had a Baby," huh?
No, I did not. I recorded Rain. No, I didn't record that with him. I recorded a song called I can't remember the name of the tune that I recorded with him, but it wasn't that.
Brownie McGee, Sticks McGee, all those McGees, they all get mixed up. Don't worry about it. I think I got. Well, I'm gonna push back on that a little later, but we'll deal with that some other time.
It was called Rainy Day.
Rainy Day.
On a rainy day.
All right.
A beautiful tune. Beautiful tune.
I dig it. So I'm sure that one's good too. And Bob Dylan and Willie Dixon and Stan Getz, right? All those guys. So you've done so much and you've got so much more to give. That's really great. In the meantime, we have someone we've got from Hot Piss and Kids Factory. Someone else who has a lot to give, Lacey Eric, and his number 5 was Reviver, Wrong Way, One Way. Number 4, Jolene, a cover of the Dolly Parton track by Spring Heel Jack. In my opinion, maybe not one of the top 10 best covers of the track, but we'll let you just talk about that if you want. Number 3, Stealing from Peter, their song 6, White Horses. Number 2, Slow Gherkin, Trapped Like Rats in Myers Flats. And number 1, Bomb the Music Industry, Future 86. Tell me a little bit about it, Lacey Eric.
All right. So my overall thought was initially going straight to like the literal meaning. So like roads and transportation and things like this. So most of the songs have some sort of connection to vehicles, or I guess I would consider a horse a vehicle. It can get you from here to there, especially if you have 6 of them. Makes it easier. So generally, I noticed that there's a strong ska lean on my list. I think it's because they tend to write better tour van songs because there's so many of them stuck in one tiny little van. That's my theory, at least. And then, yeah, just Bomb the Music Industry. They have the best of any theme song. So you'll probably get more of them on my future lists.
Fantastic. So we're going to hear a little bit of Bomb the Music Industry, Future 86, and then we are going to get to Paulo, and Nate is saying, yeah, Bomb the Music Industry, ska. All right, so here is, we'll figure, got to figure out some technical stuff. All right, here it is.
It was a mistake. Bye. It was an accident. You and I will move to New York City. I'll get a temp job. You'll start your career. I'm not being fickle, just realistic. The air is moist, but it never gets too cold this time of year. So tell me, was it worth it? Answer.
All right, a little bit about that. And of course, you can listen to it more on the Spotify playlist and the QQ playlist, which Lacey Eric put together, and I thank him for that. Thank you very much. Let's go to someone else who helps a bit behind the scenes, Paulo.
All right, when I first heard the theme, Crossroads, I went to like the blues lore idea of this is where you meet the devil, or where you're tempted. And so like my whole list are songs that have that vibe of like where something sinister but also desirable. But then with my top song, I picked The Devil Went Down to Georgia because it's the literal confrontation with the devil, but it also has a clear use of the instrumental, in this case the fiddle stuff, that complements how Sugar Blue uses the mouth harp or the harmonica, where the instrument tells the story as well, quite literally in the case of Devil Went Down to Georgia.
Well, fantastic. And I didn't even get a chance to read your top 5. So your number 5, Jerry Cantrell and Ludwig Göransson in Moonlight. Number 4, Lee Hazelwood and Nancy Sinatra with the Pitchfork favorite, Some Velvet Morning. Number 3, Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds featuring Kylie Minogue, Where the Wild Roses Grow. And number 2, Leonard Cohen, Everybody Knows, which I rediscovered from your playlist, so I appreciate that. That's a really great tune. And number one, the Charlie Daniels Band with The Devil Went Down to Georgia. Very quickly, you chose that version. I would imagine you're more of a Primus guy, but you chose this version. Do you prefer the Charlie Daniels version?
I felt like Charlie Daniels' version was more representative of the theme. I'm not gonna lie, I prefer the Primus version, but I felt that this embodied the theme better.
All right, fantastic. We're going to hear a little bit about The Devil Went Down to Georgia, and then we're going to go to Professor Nate on the other side.
The devil went down to Georgia. He was looking for a soul to steal. He was in a bind because he was way behind and he was willing to make a deal. When he came across this young man sawing on a fiddle and playing it hot, and the devil jumped up on a hickory stump and said, "Boy, let me tell you what. I guess you didn't know it, but I'm a fiddle player too. And if you'd care to take a dare, I'll make a bet with you. Now, you played pretty good fiddle, boy, but give the devil his due. I bet a fiddle of gold against your soul, because I think I'm better than you." The boy said, "My name's Johnny, and it might be a sin, but I'll take your bet you're going to regret, because I'm the best as ever been. Johnny, rising up your bow and play your fiddle hard, cause hell's broke loose in Georgia, and the devil deals the cards. And if you win, you get this shiny fiddle made of gold, but if you lose, the devil gets your soul."
Well, we're not going to find out what happens to Johnny right now, but you guys can check it out some other point. 2 quick points about that song. I recently did a 4-hour mini master's course on evil and for Chinese adults in Shanghai, and I used that song to talk about different depictions of the devil. And it was very interesting to get some perspectives on that and see how people saw the devil as, the suave but kind of foolish. But it was an interesting talk. And number 2, I associate that song with something that probably doesn't even exist anymore, which is that my family would go from Florida to Georgia to Stone Mountain, which is considered a very controversial place, but they have a monument to the Confederate. It's basically like the Confederate Mount Rushmore there. And they used to do a laser show every year with fireworks and music, and one of the premiere numbers was The Devil Went Down to Georgia. Every time I think of that song, I think of Stone Mountain, Georgia. I think when they started taking down Confederate monuments, they made Stone Mountain completely change stuff. I got to look that up, but that's definitely reminding me. That's the beauty of music. It connects cultural things and memories and all sorts of stuff. I'm going to shut the fuck up now. Let's go to Professor Nate. Professor Nate, sir, who's a big ska fan, but didn't necessarily represent that too much on his list. To go back down to some interesting childhood musical memories, we have Lil Nas with Billy Ray Cyrus, not that song, but Billy Ray Cyrus, of course, Old Town Road, the remix. Number 4, Jay-Z and Linkin Park, Dirt Off Your Shoulder / Lion from You. Number 3, Soulja Boy with Crank That Soulja Boy, Travis Barker remix. Number 2, Flo Rida. Speaking of down south, I'm a Florida boy, featuring T-Pain Low, the Travis Barker remix. And number 1, Betraying the Martyrs, Let It Go. Professor Nate, can you defend this?
I don't know if I'm going to be defending much of anything with this, but I will say that my interpretation, just so I make some sense here, my interpretation of Crossroads were different things coming together. And the only one I really am not going to be able to defend, unfortunately, is my number 1, of course. So I picked, in my mind, the Jay-Z Linkin Park album is one of the best mashup albums that I'm aware of. It's just hot the whole time through there. But in some ways, I kind of like anytime they have Travis Barker on one of those tunes, playing drums, and they have a little bit of the same kind of vibe that Linkin Park and Jay-Z had together, but it just seems like he's adding more to the song, whereas the songs in Linkin Park and Jay-Z that they picked to mash up, they just mash up really well naturally. So it's not like it doesn't feel like a different song when they do it, but it is a good mashup album. Now, I guess my best defense for Let It Go is in this. This is one of the best covers, maybe one of the only covers of Let It Go from Frozen. All right, bear with me. If Elsa and Anna were real, this would be a mashup, probably. All right, we'll just go with that. That's the way I'm going to defend it there. In all lunacy, the professor has lost his head. So, but it is a really good cover, and it's super metal.
Group chat. Of course, the cult classic soundtrack to the Judgment Night film soundtrack. But I think I repeated that. But anyway, which of course features Everlast and Cypress Hill and Pearl Jam. These rap groups mixing with metal groups. Are you familiar with that? Did that meet your consideration at all?
No, I'm not familiar with that one. So that's why it didn't meet my consideration.
I get it. We'll check it out. And I know that Gary, who's stepping out for a moment, he took a similar line as too with some interesting matchups. So anyway, thanks for your play your number one song. But if you want me to play something else, let me know. I've got them all queued up. But do you want to hear Let It Go, or do you want to hear the Jay-Z track?
Has anybody not heard this cover? Because if you haven't, you need to.
The Disney tune from Frozen, Let It Go by Betraying the Martyrs, and then we're going to go to Dave Bojangles. Thanks, Nate. Well, very interesting. Nate told me recently, I don't know if I'm breaking his confidence, that he wanted to bring in people from Berklee School of Music to join the CMC. And I guess you can attract flies with honey, or maybe you could attract them with shit as well. Hey, Dave, let's talk to your top 5 list. You ready for it?
Okay, I'm ready.
Okay. I'll read yours out. And Dave, I'm going to play more than a minute of it. You're going to get plenty of time. Don't worry. Dave wants to hear more music in the CMCs, and I respect that. Dave, your number 5 is Lightning Hopkins, Mojo Hand. Number 4, Jimi Hendrix, if I get that right, Highway Child. Number 3, The Rolling Stones, covering The Little Red Rooster, written by Willie Dixon. Number 2, Robert Johnson, Crossroad Blues, something that I expected. And your number 1, all the way down from Louisiana to up north, it's Highway 61 Revisited by Bob Dylan. Is today a good day for killing?
It depends where you want to get that killing done, Brian. I think it's a good day.
Yeah, tell me about your list, Dave.
Yeah, well, I think similar to what Paolo was saying earlier, we're continuing on the theme of the devil, or, Crossroads being somewhere, if you've got some dubious deal to, get done, or some shady business you want to take care of, some gambling, some debts to be paid, this is where you go down and get it sorted out. So I don't know. Yes, we're continuing with the blues theme. Lightning Hopkins, one of my favorites, and he's getting a mojo hand. He's going to go down to Louisiana to do that, probably on the Highway 61. Little Red Rooster, there's a nice harp playing on there. I think it was played by Mick Jagger probably before he met Sugar Blue. What else we got? Yeah, of course, the Crossroad Blues.
Highway Child.
I mean, with Robert Johnson, I think. I mean, this is the where it all started, isn't it? He went down to the Crossroads. Rumor has it he was offered a terrific way of playing. As long as he signs with the devil, that his soul is forever with Satan.
Yeah.
And the last one, Bob Dylan, where each verse is a scenario of something happening down on the crossroads of Highway 61, whether it's a killing or if it's a promotion of World War III or whatever it is you're going to do. The best place to do it is on Highway 61.
Okay, we're going to play Highway 61 Revisited by Bob Dylan. Thank you very much, Dave. And then we'll go to a modern day troubadour, just like Bob Dylan, Eric Allen. So thank you very much, Dave.
Oh, God said to Abraham, kill me a son. Abe said, man, you must be putting me on. God said, no. Abe said, what? God said, you can do what you want, Abe, but next time you see me coming, you better run. Well, Abe said, where you want this killing done? God said, around Highway 61. Well, Georgia Sam, he had a bloody nose. Well, Fatty Papa, they wouldn't give him no clothes. They asked poor Howard, where can I go? Howard said, there's only one place I know. Sam said, tell me quick, man, I got to run. Oh, Howard just pointed with his gun and said, that way down Highway 61.
I just posted a photo of me on Highway 61 there in the group chat. And so on, Eric, did you make it onto Highway 61 recently?
Yeah, actually, I was just thinking about that. Yeah.
All
Highway
right.
61 going up through western Mississippi up there. Yeah. That was really cool. You know, those tall
Fantastic.
pines.
So you can talk about that a little bit, but here's your top 5. It's from, the John and Alan Lomax recordings, field recordings done in a prison. The artist credited is Bull doing his version of Berta. It's a very traditional number. Number 4, a modern day revivalist of the folk tradition, Steve Earle doing Billy Austin. Number 3, Townes Van Zandt doing Kathleen, a live version. Number 2, someone who my friend was supposed to buy me tickets for, and then he forgot, and then it sold out, so I never got to see him live. It's Chris Christopherson with To Beat the Devil. And number 1, it's some guy named Eric Allen with Cut and Roll Sweepin' Blues.
Yeah.
Who is this genius who made it to your number 1? And can you tell me a little bit about just that song or your whole list?
Well, I mean, I'm not really much of a rankings guy ever for anything, but I mean, the ranking or whatever songs I pick really would just depend on the day, probably, and whatever mood I was in on that day. But on that particular day, I was really interpreting Crossroads to mean, because I most of the songs I do are stories of some sort, and I'm just interpreting it to mean there's some sort of pivot in your life coming up, where you go this way or you go that way, and usually pretty big things like, Billy Austin is a guy who has a choice whether to kill someone or not at that moment. And he has to choose one or the other in that moment. All those songs I followed that kind of thinking and picking the songs. And like I said, that day, my mood, they can get pretty dark.
Yeah.
And I can get pretty dark. Cut and Roll Sweet Blues, that's something that I chose that one actually, and I put it at number 1 actually because part of the story of Cut and Roll Sleeping Blues, I started talking to this homeless guy out in LA when I was doing shows and visiting out in LA last year in 24. And I got to know this guy named Winston. And he had been homeless a long time. And he basically said to me, I've had enough of this. You know, and he actually used the phrase, I'm at a crossroads. So it immediately came up in my head. You know, what am I going to do? Stay on the street? Or because he said the police are always trying to move me along, get me off the street, sweep me off the street. And he just said, I've decided I'm just going to go with my faith and try to make it to the promised land based on my faith. That's where that song come from. I ended up writing that song. So yeah, no, all those songs though will have something in my mind. I mean, you can come up with any kind of reason you want for putting a song in a theme, I think, but they all have some big decision. Chris Christopherson's song, which I love, To Beat the Devil, I think of that as a crossroads that a lot of musicians face at some point, which is, do I keep doing this, banging my head up against the wall, doing this, or do I just go get some job, or do I follow my passion? That song reminds me of that. So.
And he dedicates that song to John and June Carter, who we heard we heard Johnny earlier from there too. So that's interesting stuff. And hopefully your songs will continue to inspire people as well. Let's listen to a bit of the Cut and Roll Sweepin' Blues, and then we're going to get to your producer for that track. I believe is Brad. Did Brad produce that?
Yep, he did.
All right. So thank you very much. Great job, Eric. And wonderful to hear from you. Here it is. Cut and Roll Sweepin' Blues by Eric Allen.
Got to spend on the dog, sitting down the line. Got spent a lot of time past through them, and got me no job line. Yeah, I'm mad at your grin, said, boy, you don't mess your life. Yeah, guess I'm killing, but I just don't care no more. Train to left the station and I just don't care no more. Yeah, riding that blues line king, but y'all know how. I get out on Monday, there be no one around. Friday, Saturday, everybody in town. Come Sunday, yes, I'm in a good law, I'm working on now. What we gonna do?
All right. Thank you very much. And once again, Eric, look forward to hearing you talk about your music when we can feature your album work like we just did for Sugar Blue. Next to a man who takes his spelling and his capitalization very seriously, we've got Brad M. Seppel, a.k.a. Thornton. Your number 5 is Lee Delgo with Slim Rothaus. Instead of trying to create the ultimate robot slave, we could be imagining the birth of humankind's godlike child. Number 4. Collective Tromtasi, Tristesti. I hope I pronounced that right. Number 3, it's too bad we didn't get him here to see this. I apologize for that, Brad. It's Sugar Blue covering Howlin' Wolf, Who's Been Talking. Got the London version here, not the original re-recording. Number 2, El General featuring Anaika, No Me Trates de Enganar. Hope that's okay. And number 1, and before you get to this, I need to clarify something. The Bone Thugs and Harmony, The Crossroads, DJ Unique's Mo Thugs remix. That's a tune for you hip-hop people in here. There was an original version of The Crossroads that was released before Eazy-E died. You can find it on the original pressings of East 1999. Then Eazy-E died. They did a remix where they kind of reference him more. That's the one that had the music video. I know I had the CD single, and then I originally got the original album and was wrong. And this was one of my very early music nerd things. So I just wanted to clarify that for everyone there. Sorry for talking too much. Brad, tell me a little bit about your list.
Okay, so the song that you just mentioned, it's kind of on the nose, and my interpretation, I realized later was a bit different. I thought that Professor Nate's interpretation of songs that are like bringing two different worlds together at a crossroads musically is really interesting. But I took it more like personally of where I was when I heard these songs and what I associate with them, and just like different changing points in my life. And each song is like a different thing that I associate with that, but I won't go into each of them because it'll just be a bunch of stories. But number 5, especially Lee Daiguo, he's an artist that I really looked up to when I was kind of starting to learn to play Chinese instruments, especially the pipa. And throughout the years, these last like 17 years I've been in China, I've got to know him, and actually wound up working with him on this record. And so the Crossroad bit is kind of about like how I transitioned to start doing more engineering work and focusing more on audio as my career, and how these people I kind of looked up to, like when I was just doing it as a hobby, I could later work with them. So I chose that song as like a crossroad, and it's number 5, but it's no real particular order, but that would be the one that I would talk about out of the 5 most.
Fantastic. And just to clarify something that you brought up, you know, the CMCs evolved a little bit, and what we find to be the most interesting is there's no wrong answers. We don't say, what's your favorite song in minor tuning or your favorite songs with an oboe solo? However you interpret it, I think is really half the beauty of the thing. It's not just what people decide, it's how they choose to decide it. So there's perfectly fine with how you did it. And I think that it becomes an interesting exercise in that regard, right?
Oh yeah.
So yeah, do you want me to play the Lee Daiguo song, or do you want to hear Bone Thugs and Harmony? What do you want to hear, Brad?
Well, I know someone else had it on their list, and I don't know if anyone's heard it. It's a classic, but yeah, I mean, if you want to go for it, you can. The Lee Daiguo song is okay too. You know, you're
open.
discretion.
We're gonna go for your number 1, Brad. That's cool, and then we're gonna go to Julia. You ready for the harmonies, people? You ready for the music video? Here we go.
Judgment comes for you. What you gonna do when it ain't nowhere to hide? When judgment comes for you, 'cause it's gonna go for you. And I'm gonna miss everybody out around the clock. My gang looked at a while. Playing for dust and they too deep for peace. And the less I got to be, tell me you teach it to cease for them, please. Remember me by my grand, you can go. God bless you, working on a plan to heaven. Follow the Lord all 24/7 days. God is who we praise, even though the devil's all up in my face, but he keeping me safe and in my place. Say grace to the gates we race, but I change the face of judge, and it bless my soul with books. Grudge because there's so much to do. Ooh, what can I do? It's all about the family and how we do. Can I get a witness? Let it unfold. We live in our lives, we turn our soul. Hey, hey. And we're praying, we're praying, we're praying, we're praying. Every day, every day, every day, every day. And we're praying, we're praying, we're praying, we're praying. Still related. Now follow me, Rosto. Whether it's tell us tapping, come us to take a visit to the people that's long gone there. And he's terrible. Instead of giving up on his family. Exactly.
How many days we got last? We laugh and dance. Yeah, really, from a time where hip hop, all the acts really had their own sound to it. That song was so interesting when it came out with the harmonies and stuff. They're one of those groups that I feel like if they were able to keep their shit together, you got Lazy Bone, he's leaving, different members interchange and stuff. They would just keep their shit together. They would have had a much more prolonged success. Does anyone have an opinion about that? Anyone think? Cleveland hip hop all day. Anyway, Julia. All right, your number 5 is the Insane Clown Posse. Whoop whoop, the Wraith. Number 4, Ouija Mac. You got your doll there somewhere with I'm Nowhere. Number 3, Shaggy 2 Dope, who's also in the Insane Clown Posse with Dono. Number 2, Prozac featuring Chris Calico and Tech Nine with Purgatory. And your number 1, Bone Thugs and Harmony, the Crossroads DJ Unique's Mo Thug remix. Can you tell me a little bit about it?
Okay, sure, yeah. So I saw the theme, and instantly my brain said this song. Okay, that's it. That's why Bone Thugs is number one. Now, then my brain took it even further, and that song, because of when I encountered it for the first time, I just kind of went very dark. Death and suicide, and that explains the rest of them.
Okay.
But funny thing, and I didn't realize this, I saw all of these people in August, last August, at the Gathering of the Juggalos. It was great.
Did the Bone Thugs finish with the Crossroads? Was that their final song?
It was like their second to last song, but I had to distance myself from the stage for it because, like, it brings up a lot of feelings. You
Sure.
understand. But
I
I
dig
did
it.
watch them for most of their set. Yeah.
Yeah, I would quite. Were they able to do the harmonies live, or was it
Yeah.
kind of muddy? No.
They were able to do it. It was pretty good.
All right. Well, let's keep listening to Bone Thugs and Harmony. We'll continue with the song, and then we're gonna go to Gary and Guangzhou. Thank you, Julia. Oh, wait, what's that?
I was gonna say, if you wanted to switch up the songs, listen to Purgatory.
Okay, we can do that. Whatever you want. I like I said, I default to number one, but if someone wants to hear something else, we're happy to do that. But here's Prozac, and we got a couple shout outs to Tech9 from Professor Nate. So he's on this track. I'm not sure if we're gonna get to his verse. I don't remember the order, but here's Prozac's song featuring other artists with Purgatory, and we're gonna get to Gary.
Is it really, really, really? Wish I could find a better way. Yeah, that I would lay me down and give my life to you. There's nothing left to do. But in this story, in purgatory, what is it all about? The good book says, and I don't really think that you're orphan, and if you're right, you get took. I shake those fears, and I don't really believe in I should another blood got me lucky. Seems like some type of hoax. Folks coaxing what they love the most. I had the weirdest dreams, a guttural screams, the demons will sing from coast to coast. For the last time, slip as if you deserve it. If you don't know by now, you just made it real permanent. Inside the Golden Gate, so where everyone hates you. Ain't no saving, no face, or no way to escape. Two eyes just white shut, but I gotta go visit the automatism, the vision inside of my gut. Life is like what? Whatever you make it. No whistle for your time is up. There's a piece of you that you can sink knee deep to the sweep one. Keep them from keeping you. And when the streets we keep all the deep sleep bleak, and you seek them, ain't nobody speaking you, and that's purgatory.
All right, thank you very much. Someone else who's got some hip hop on his list is Mr. Gary in Guangzhou. Where he is? There he is with a cat friend. I'm sure we'll hear a little bit about him or her. Your number 5. Speaking of the crossovers, here we go. Anthrax featuring Public Enemy, Bring the Noise. Number 4, Run DMC featuring Aerosmith. Just I think, well, it gets credited as Aerosmith, but it's really only Joe Perry and Steven Tyler with Walk This Way, their cover of the Aerosmith classic. Number 3, Robert Johnson, Crossroad Blues. The Beastie Boys with one of their early singles, a prank call called Cookie Puss. And number 1, featuring former CMC guest Sugar Blue. It's the Rolling Stones with Miss You. Gary, tell me a little bit about it.
Okay. Well, I went with the band's coming together theme. All songs I love. Now, the Beastie Boys, that was their crossover time when they went from a hardcore punk band into more of a hip hop band. And Cookie Puss was their first hip hop song. And I'm a big fan of the Beastie Boys, so I had to go with them. And Miss You was a much more of a personal thing. When I became a teenager, I went from not owning any music at all to starting to buy records. And Some Girls by the Stones was one of the first records I ever had. And Miss You, I always loved that song, but it meant a lot to me through my teenage years. And so it was my own crossroads, going from just hearing music from my parents and things like that to actually moving into my own thing and buying albums and listening to my own music. And the Stones was that a big spot for me in my crossover. And like I said, Miss You, listening to I never knew who Sugar Blue was, and now I do, and that's awesome. So it brought back a lot of good memories and all that.
Fantastic. I find my cats, when they ever hear Sly Stone, they freak out. Do you have any artists that riles up your cats?
No, not really. I wish I could remember. There is some music that they love. I can't think of it right now, though.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah, and a lot of them hate my guitar. I pull up the guitar and they all start running away.
Yeah,
but I do have a few of them that will sit around and meow and like sing along with me. So, I guess cats are different, just like humans.
Absolutely. Gary is also a hardcore music fan, and Eric suggested his band, Hot Piss, might rile up your cats. I think that my cats can hear the Crazy and Sly Stone, so that gets them going, but maybe they'll also react to some Hot Piss.
My cat's the same.
Listen to some Hot Piss, no doubt.
Who just said something?
My cat also, Sly and the Family Stone. It gets him moving. It's mad. Yeah.
I think they can sense the crazy. I think it freaks them out.
I did just remember Bigoton. When Bigoton, the first time he came over, one of our cats, she passed away last year, but she literally came out and was dancing to Bigoton. I was blown away, and she literally started twerking.
So reggae, all right, reggae.
Yeah, it was unbelievable. I mean, she's a cat, but wow. Yeah, that was definitely a big memory.
All right. So here's your number one, though. It's Miss You by the Rolling Stones. Then we're going to go to Randy DJ, Sly Boots, and then we'll finish up with mine. Here we go. Dying to meet you. Thank you very much. And let's get to Randy. Randy, your number 5 is Eric Clapton, Wonderful Tonight. Number 4, Sunshine of Your Love. Number 3, As My Guitar Gently Weeps by the Beatles. And John Mayall, Blues Breakers with I'm Your Witch Doctor. An all Eric Clapton list. Isn't that amazing?
You got it. That's amazing, right? Yeah.
Okay. Just kidding. Your number 5 is Hazel Atkins, a real genius. Get out of my car. Number 4, Johnny Otis, who I got tattooed right there. Early in the Morning Blues, shaming me for not choosing my favorite guy. Number 3, Hank Williams Jr. with Georgia Woman. Number 2, LMA Morris, Daddy Daddy, covering Ruth Brown, I think it is. I think that's a Ruth Brown track. And number 1, a real genius of rockabilly music. It's Charlie Feathers with Release Me. Tell me a little bit about it, Randy.
Yeah, so my dislike for white blues is pretty obvious. So this was the hardest list to ever make, to think of 5 good white blues tracks. Because we all know that the black blues of the middle of the century, that's the holy grail. It's all good. Yes, you can't argue about it. It's good or it's great or it's genius, right? It's all on earth. There's nothing rare. We know all the songs. So it's okay. Crossroads, I thought of my youth in the 80s, 90s, going to the bar. I watched all the Dentist, Lawyers, Blues Band play Crossroads. I got my mojo working. 8-minute major minor pentatonic scales, just it was hell, it was just so boring, so I picked 5 tracks which are much more essential in blues.
Yeah, and so I don't think people realize this. So these are all 5 of these main artists are white artists. Yeah. And did Charlie Feathers ever come through Europe? Did you ever see him?
No. Oh, I wish.
Yeah.
I wish. But this is a gray heart Charlie Feathers, like later in age,
Oh yeah, he kept doing some
he kept doing things just purely out of just hobby and fun, and and he just was so himself. That's what I like. He was not trying to be blues. He wasn't trying. It was just literally him being him.
Yeah.
And he really has the sound. It's probably the best white blues singer that I can think of.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. No, Janis Joplin doesn't do it for you?
No, so it's a good comparison because I picked Ella Mae Morse.
Yeah.
Why? Because Ella Mae Morse was a sexy blonde with big breasts. And Janis was more like an intellectual hippie bohemian girl, which I think is not blues, I think blues should be sexy. Ella Mae Morse was sexy,
It depends, like Ma Rainey, Bessie Smith. These are kind of rough chicks too. Not
but they're sexy. They're also sexy,
Interesting. All right. Well, thank you very much, Randy. Love your contribution from the dark side. And here is yours. Then we're gonna get to me, and we're gonna finish up the meeting. Charlie Feathers with "Release Me."
Oh yeah. In my home alone. Oh, Lord. In my home alone. Ain't nothing to live alone by yourself. When you're in love with another one.
Excellent stuff. Redheaded Mamo, One Hand Loose, just so many good recordings, good stuff. And you guys all did great, but now I'm going to give you guys the correct answer. So take notes and note what you should have done. My interpretation was songs where people have to make a decision and go one way or the other. I wanted the person in the song, the narrator, to have to kind of make a decision. They are at the crossroads and they're doing it. I didn't do the devil thing. I didn't do, some of the other interpretations. That's how I decided to do it. My number 5, former guest for the CMC, Micah with Borders. Border on the Wall, Relationships, Not Which Way to Share to Go. Number 4, from the great storyteller, from his album, The Art of Storytelling, it's Slick Rick with Two-Way Street. He's caught in different situations where he might cheat on his lover and he has to make decisions. Number 3, especially with Crossroads, I'm thinking Trains, and we had Sugar Blue. Jimmy Rogers, an absolute genius. So I picked a song of his where he has to make a decision like that. It's Train Whistle Blues. Again, focusing on that interpretation, one way or this way. I went, and this song's got harmonica on it too, which gave it some bump. Bob Dylan, Most Likely You'll Go Your Way and I'll Go Mine. I chose the original. The Mark Ronson remix is not bad, but very, very strong choice. And my number 1, someone who I just don't think gets enough love in the general music community is Lord Flea. He was the king of mento music, the music that from Jamaica that predated reggae. He did move to Miami. He's most famous because the more handsome and conventionally talented Harry Belafonte ripped off everything he did. But his music Lord Flea's is really quirky and weird, and I think he should be considered someone like Howlin' Wolf or Muddy Waters, who's part of the canon. And his song, I Can't Cross Over, talks about his struggle and trying to reach the mainstream, but it's more deep than that. He's trying to cross over in relationships, in life, in love, and then even kind of when he does at the end, he's not quite sure about it. It's a really deep, simple song that's really beautiful, and it's my number one. We're going to listen to it, and then we're going to close the meeting out. So once again, Lord Flea and his Calypsonians with I Can't Cross Over.
The river come down, the river come down, I can't cross over. Why, oh, can't cross over. The river come down, the river come down, the river come down, I can't cross over. Why, oh, can't cross over. Me look so, me look so, me look so, me look so. Look right down in the water. Why, oh, the river will come down, the river come down, I can't cross over. Why, can't cross over. I take piece of stick, piece of stick, drop into the water. Why, can't cross over. Me brother come there, save me from the water. Why, yes, river come down, I can't cross over.
All right. So we're reaching the end now to Critical Music Club number 68. I wanted to thank you guys for joining it. All the critics, everyone's sitting in. Oh, wrong button. There it is. Cool. And next weekend, Sunday, of course, everyone is welcome to sit in. If you guys didn't enjoy, please give me some feedback to how we can improve these meetings. I'm sorry for the technical difficulties with Sugar Blue. Try to arrange some meetings and stuff earlier this week. I was told it's fine. You know how it goes. Next Sunday, we have Dr. Andrew Field, who I worked on Rocking China with, a book about Chinese rock and roll. He is going to be presenting the White Album and making his argument that it's the greatest Beatles album. He just made a YouTube clip, which is like his thesis about it. We've gotten some feedback that people like when the main musicians don't join the club, so we're going to be trying some more of that, but still having some special guests like Sugar Blue. So next week, Andrew Field talking about the Beatles' White Album, talking about roller coaster songs. The week after that, I'm working on a very special guest. And if it's not that, we're going to be redoing last week's 2025 songs and featuring Lacey Eric's thesis that I Get Wet by Andrew WK. Anyway, lots of stuff. Please help spread the word. I'd love to get people from more cities, ways you want to improve things, all of that stuff. We can hang out a bit and talk or not. It's all good. No worries, Brad. Thank you very much for tuning in. Spread the playlist, spread the love of Sugar Blue. And I think that's really it. Thank you guys very much. I really appreciate, very excited to keep these CMCs going. And as they say in Mongolia, Dara Otsi. Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
The end. All right.